Hi, I'm Dom Hind, and fuck, I'm nearly 50. Actually, I'm 48 and a half now. And what I've noticed lately is the questions I ask about my health have completely changed. In my 20s and 30s, the question was usually, how do I lose a few kilos? But in my 40s, it's becoming something very different. Is my body actually strong enough for the next 30 years? Because aging suddenly stops being theoretical. You realize your body isn't something you push through with day to day. It's something you have to understand and take care of properly. And sometimes all it takes is one conversation to change the way you think about everything. For me, that moment happened with today's guest. We were chatting about health and nutrition, and she casually asked me, have you ever had a DEXA scan? And I said no, because honestly, I barely knew what it was. But she encouraged me to go and get one, and when the results came back, it was a wake-up call because suddenly I wasn't guessing anymore. I could see my bone density, my muscle mass, and my body composition in actual numbers. And when you see that, something shifts. You realize aging well isn't about luck. It's about information, strength, and paying attention earlier than most people do. Because, fuck, I'm nearly 50, and isn't it amazing? All right, here we go. Karen van Esveld is the founder of WellSet Nutrition and Pilates, a Sydney-based practice focused on helping people understand their health through the powerful combination of nutrition, movement, and metabolic insight. Interestingly, Karen didn't begin her career in health. She started as a graphic designer, someone trained to notice patterns, structure, and the smallest details most people overlook. But over time, the same curiosity about systems and how they work led her to the most complex system of all, the human body. She retrained as a nutritionist and Pilates practitioner, eventually founding WellSet, where she helps people take a smarter, more personalised approach to their health. Her philosophy is simple but powerful. Instead of guessing what your body needs, understand it through nutrition, strength, testing, and real-life habits that support long-term health. She also happens to be the person responsible for sending me off to get my very first DEXA scan, which completely changed how I think about aging. Karen, welcome to Fuck, I'm Nearly 50.
Thanks, Dom. I'm excited.
Let's start. If someone met you at a dinner party and you weren't allowed to say nutritionist, how would you explain what you did?
Well, firstly, I don't really like people to let people know that. They're like, oh no, who sat me next to the nutritionist? She's going to judge every drink and every choice I make this evening. But I think what I do is I help people fill the gap of where they are now and where they want to be. Mm-hmm. Because most people I talk to, they want similar things, but they've been overloaded, I think, with information. You know, they probably put their bloods through ChatGPT. Yeah. Their things are popping up on their Instagram telling them they need this, they need that. But most people I talk to, they want the same thing. They want to feel great. They probably want to lower their body fat, possibly their visceral fat, build muscle. They want to optimize everything they can. They want to be operating at peak performance, and they want to be good in their last marginal decade, the last 10 years in particular. But even now, I'm a little over 50, but, what do the next 30, 40 years look like, and how are you going to be at that last 10? Is it going to be horrible and you're going to be managing something really hideous, or you're going to be good cruising through Europe,
Yeah. And it's interesting because I love talking to nutritionalists because I think that everyone has their own perspective, but so much of it is in the data. And making sure that you can understand the data and that you understand the data truly. Because I think that's one of the biggest things is that we've got so much data at our fingertips now, but what do we actually do with it? And how can we actually make sure that we are using it to our advantage?
Yeah, and that is the thing that probably I see the most. And even sometimes, unfortunately, I'll put them on a protocol and they still come back the following week and they're like, oh, I did what you said. And then I put it through chat and they said, I should be adding berberine and I should be adding this. I've just added those in as well. And I'm like, oh, But yeah, it is people being overloaded with info and just it's trying to understand like what is clinically relevant to them. Like even say they know they've got elevated inflammation. Maybe it's come back on their bloods. They've got high CRP, ESR, or even if they've done a microbiome test, they've got systemic inflammation. But there's so many ways that you can address even that.
Yeah.
But like what actual chemical pathway or what is driving your inflammation rather than just going, oh, I'm just going to take a random fish oil or, maybe even something that's off iHerb or don't want to say names, but something that's not maybe a really high quality fish oil there's so many anti-inflammatories as well, like curcumin and turmeric or so many herbs. And people text me even through Instagram and say, what do you think of milk thistle? Well, for what? Yes.
And what's the rest of your body doing? You can't just blanket prescribe.
Yeah, exactly. So what, are your liver enzymes elevated or what's the reason you're, I think people just hear about these things and think, oh, I should be on it, NMN, NR,
Yeah. See, I'm definitely one of those people who I'll go, ooh, I need to be doing this week. Ooh, let's try and do this. I have nearly stopped my peptide fascination for the time being, just because
you're like, oh, my clients, I don't want to do any of the basics. I just want to shoot up some peptides, 6 of them, not look at the drug interactions.
Yeah, it's not like, don't worry that it actually hasn't been properly tested or where it's come from. But, that's it. We all want the quick fix.
Everyone wants a quick fix.
Everyone does want a quick fix, which but it does come back to what make up your body actually is.
Like what does your body actually need and what are your genetic predispositions? What's your deal?
Yeah. What is going on over there?
Exactly. So I think it's good to get the data, but and then do something with it.
Yes, you do. That's specific to you, not to the general population. Okay. Was there a moment in your life where you realised nutrition and health were far more powerful than people realise?
There's been a few points. I went even in my 20s. I've always been fascinated with all of this, and I've always tossed up between design or studying health and nutrition. And I think I went to some little conference or some health retreat thing, and somebody said, "Eat to live, don't live to eat." And I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." So I've always kind of thought like that, but I think a lot of the things that I've done because I just didn't have the right information. I've actually caused more damage than good in a lot of ways. Like I really went hardcore on that whole low-fat craze that we grew up through.
Yeah.
I did not let a bit of fat touch my body, and as a consequence, I think that has impacted my. I've got osteoporosis, so has impacted my bone a lot. A lot of nutrients were cut out, and I just took that too far. So. I think then, but it wasn't really probably until the first year of my degree that I really started to understand the body, chemical pathways, how you need certain nutrients to upregulate, different chemical pathways or even make enzymes activate or whatever it is. Like the biochemistry was actually the most fascinating part of my degree. And when I started to see that in action, I was like, food really is medicine.
Yeah.
I also used to be vegetarian. But then once I started studying, I was like, if I just eat a bit of meat, that's going to tick a lot of boxes. And
you're not vegetarian now.
No.
So well, you need the protein. Anyway.
That's another story.
Yeah, I know. That's interesting. So I grew up. My mum still has anorexia, and she's 72. And it was interesting, even like that low fat trend. Yeah. Like it's just something that we all grew up with, and even now I have to check myself to go. It doesn't matter if it's low fat. Like, just go the full fat because if they've taken the fat out, they're putting something back in.
Exactly. And they've processed the hell out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or maybe it's a lot higher in sugars or whatever it is. But I still can't. Yeah, that's still in the back of my brain as well. I find it really hard to tap out of that.
It's just like, oh. But even with the milk, like I drink full fat cow milk, and I'm probably the only one in the world who still does. But I'm not going low fat. But because it's
if you don't need to. So a lot of people do have issues with dairy, but if you don't, why?
Okay.
I agree.
I like that eat to live, not live to eat. And I do, yeah.
I mean, I was 20 when I heard that.
Yeah.
I was like, I'd never thought of it like that. Anyway, pretty basic, but
No, but it is, but it just changes the way you think about food.
rather than it just being, I mean, food can obviously be very fun.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be fun every day, 3 meals a day.
Yeah, I agree. What's something that you see people doing in the name of health that makes you quietly cringe?
Well, I've probably done most of them.
Yeah.
I think I've done every stupid health hack there is, every crazy diet. So I'm probably not one to look at others and judge, to be honest. If you saw some of the unhinged stuff and some of the stuff that people tell me, I'm like, whoa. But it's probably, I've got quite a few disordered eating clients and anorexic as well that's been with me a very long time. And even my own daughter, they do show me things on TikTok and things that I see, and I'm like, that's just so confusing. And I guess we weren't exposed to that, which is comforting. But yeah, for example, one of the things I saw was this really gorgeous, very lean looking girl. She was having, I think it was 8 dates stuffed with ghee. That was her breakfast. Then lunch was like this piece of meat with all this fat on it. And, it was just all protein, but animal proteins, and there were no vegetables. And then, this client of mine said, what do you think of this? And she looked amazing. And I'm like, I just don't believe for a second that she's eating that, first of all. Like, I can spot disordered eating a mile away because I've had it.
Yeah.
So I guess things like that, they kind of concern me. You've got daughter as well.
Yeah. It is really interesting, but it's not only what's happening. I saw a campaign that's just launched in New Zealand for teens on what's actually happening and what messages that they're getting sent or they're getting pushed every day on TikTok. And it's actually disturbing, just the content that is there. It's
especially if you want to go down some of those rabbit holes too. Like it will just feed whatever you. I think if I had been exposed to that when I was young, like
I think yes. The and that's where it is. Like even with Hallie, like I'm very focused on your food is really important. We need to make sure that you're eating healthy, but also eating for your body because. Last year, we found out she had 2 parasites and, that's what playing up with her gut. So, specific things for her are really important. And what's happening for her is not what's happening with my son or even with me as well. So making sure that...
Well, girls are tricky in particular. My daughter's got a lot of stuff going on as well. She won't want me to say what's happening in case she hears this podcast. But also, I've just been very careful with my language around her. Because my mum too, very disordered eating. And even, she just passed away recently, but even all her life, she'll just talk about people, but they're a bit fat.
Yeah,
it's
weight.
always talking
always
about
weight.
people's weight.
Yeah.
She's obsessed with it. And even thinking about my childhood, how disordered her eating was. She used to pick, never ate meals and, just snacked on this. Lunch might have been a cream bun. Like it was just, I don't know, it was just not normal eating and just so much chat about someone's weight. And I just think no wonder so I've been very careful around my own daughter.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. I'm like, no,
I don't talk about it.
I'm not
going there.
It.
She's like, what are you? And I'm like, you look amazing. I'm not going.
How do you feel? Do you feel okay? Well, then you look amazing as well.
Yeah.
Because how you feel is, how you show.
Oh, well, boys are much easier, I think. My son's very interested in, is this going to make me strong?
Yeah.
And, am I eating enough protein? And he's only young, but I think that's the chat in an all-boys school too.
Yeah,
They're
I think
all about
is.
how we're going to get strong and it's very sporty.
Particularly when you have to go to the gym and lift weights already when you're in grade 7. Do you ever see people who think they're doing everything right, but their data tells them something completely different?
Yes, absolutely. I think people can be, they can be, believing they're being super, super healthy for sure, but maybe they have got certain things going on in their bodies. Maybe they actually do have a real issue with gluten. I see a lot of people with gastrointestinal stuff going on, and I think they're just exposing their body every day to things, and sometimes people are drawn to things that I think that they just shouldn't be eating. Dairy is one of them.
Yeah.
It's an actual thing where people are addicted to dairy, some people who should not be having it. But I think, like if your gut is very compromised and you've got possibly IBD or some, gluten's you're just constantly, and some people who are having so much bread or whatever it is. But I think it's also sometimes people are doing a lot of fasting and it's really not working for them.
Do you fast ever?
I personally don't.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Nearly everyone I see, a lot of people, they're fasting a lot and it's never working. And they have a lot of adipose tissue, like they've got a lot of abdominal fat. And I just think also it just makes a lot more sense to me eating with your circadian rhythm, like just eating normally. Fast overnight for sure. Give your body a good break, I think.
Don't wake up and go, oh, I might have a snack.
Give it a good 12, 14 hours, I think is good overnight. Let your body have a good rest and digest. I think if you finish your meal 3 hours before bed, it's going to help with your sleep. Your body's not like trying to digest food. But I think anything extreme from even that's my personality, so I just try not to do anything too extreme anymore.
I think that's a good call. But I mean, it does work for some people.
It does, and there is science on it, the whole autophagy, there is definitely science there, but from what I've seen just in clinical practice and from what I see with people, it's not working for them a lot of the time.
It's funny, I think that I do so much right with what I eat and what I don't eat, but I'm sure if I kept a food journal, I would definitely be surprised with what I was and wasn't eating. And I don't think I get enough protein. Like I definitely know I don't get enough protein.
Okay.
And I think that I try and supplement that with a highly processed protein bar to, top up my protein, where, it's all for me about trying to get the best out of my body for my later years. But I know, even for me.
Okay, we need to have a little chat because it's very easy to do, Dom. Very easy, I think, without a protein bar. I'm not a fan of them.
Oh my God.
But I think even if you start your day and make sure, even with a lot of my clients, I just try to make sure you've got 30 grams of protein in the breakfast. Even if you did a good clinical collagen, something that's got science on it, and a lot of the ones that I have, the practitioner only ones, they've got patents on, they've shown that they work, specific strains of collagen for different things, but that's got 16.5 grams in it. So it's not for muscle mass so much, but it's counting towards your protein for the day. So there, you've had a coffee with some protein, or you've put it in your yogurt, the collagen, and then you've had 30 grams of breakfast. You've already got, I mean, you and I probably only need 100 and a bit. So you almost tick that box without having, I don't like protein bars.
I knew you'd be like, processed.
Well, I'm about protein, but I'm also about hitting your fibre content. I'm big on the fibre. From a gut health and for many reasons, really.
Well, I think fiber's great and I think Dr. Craig Hafer was on, and he's a gastroenterologist. And one of the things I always take and think about when he was speaking was you need to think of it like a river from your mouth to your anus. And fibre is literally the only thing that will help make
gut
sure
motility.
that the flow is real. Yeah.
He's right. Yes, I totally agree with this.
Have you had a moment where a client's health results genuinely shocked you?
Yes, for sure. Absolutely. I feel like I do have a lot of clients who are high-performing execs. I feel like a man can hide a lot under a business suit. They can look very sharp. And
with the padded shoulders.
Nipped in waist. Look very polished. They're very assertive, and then you get the bloods back. You're like, whoa. There's a lot of things going on with, insulin resistance, fatty liver. The liver enzymes are really elevated. Maybe they've got high homocysteine. Just blood lipids. A lot of stuff going on metabolically. That does surprise me a lot. Microbiome tests as well. Execs in particular, I think when you've got really high stress,
there's a lot of stress,
inflammatory, a lot of IBS type stuff going on. That's very common. But also sometimes I get a gut test back and I'm like really shocked by the bugs maybe. I had one recently. It was almost 50% E. coli
Oh,
I actually
wow.
called the lab, and I was like, and they were like, yeah, we've never seen one this high. And they were like, how's that patient feeling? And I'm like, they're actually not too bad. So
Oh, wow. So they'd obviously just adjusted to it over time.
just I think that becomes your norm.
Yeah,
You know?
wow.
I mean, they did have a lot of health stuff, other stuff going on.
Yeah.
And I do think, you know, the gut impacts everything.
The gut does impact. It is literally your central
Yeah.
system for everything.
Yes.
Everything.
So, yeah, well, and then sometimes, you know, I get stuff back and it's perfect. And
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
so, yeah, it can be surprising. Maybe sometimes not so surprising. You'll get someone in front of you and, you know, they're not eating any vegetables and they're doing, you know,
Yeah.
drinking lots of alcohol and, you know.
What impact does drinking a lot of alcohol have on the body?
Oh, do you wear an aura?
Yeah, I've got a Whoop.
Yeah, I mean, it's inflammatory. You know,
Yeah,
it
the
dehydrates
recovery,
you,
yeah.
pushes your heart rate up. I
Yeah.
notice it big time on my aura myself. Even one drink,
Yeah, wow.
it'll elevate my heart rate overnight, so my sleep metrics will be
Yeah.
impacted. So for me, it's probably accountability just
Yeah.
for sleep and alcohol. That's
Yeah.
been a big game changer because I do like a drink. With
Yeah.
friends.
See, I haven't had a drink for a while now, and it is like I sleep so well, all of it. Not that I was a big drinker before, but it does change the way that your body.
Well, I
just
literally feel poisoned
works.
if I have
Yeah.
more than two, probably.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, and I used to be able to get away with a lot more.
Yeah.
I just can't get away with it. But I mean, we're on this podcast, right? And it's this age where you just can't get away with it.
You can't
anymore.
You literally can't.
No.
Like and that's why, like, everything you put in, it's going to have an impact on your body. Like everything you put in, doesn't matter what it is. Food,
All the things you're doing.
liquids,
Yeah, all
chemicals.
the little routines, and just all these little things. And again, like they're the clients that have the most success with me. They're the ones that do all the little things.
Yeah.
There's no one peptide.
No.
Sorry.
Damn it.
Yeah, sorry.
My one that has 75 of them in there. Anyway. So you actually started your career as a graphic designer. What drew you to that originally?
Oh, look, I'm a very visual person and I'm all about aesthetics. And I think that was a lot of my problem in the first place with health and fitness and everything. I always wasn't so much when I was younger, I wasn't that concerned about how healthy probably at the end of the day. I just wanted to look a certain way.
Yeah.
I tossed up between design and a Bachelor of Dietetics when I was in my early 20s, but I thought there's no way that you're going to be able to do biochemistry. And to be honest, I probably didn't have the headspace for it back then. I think, I can get really hyper-focused and I just had to be, I think, in the right, frame of mind. I think later in life, like I'm just so interested in this now and knowing how my own body works and how to optimize all of that. So I do love both of those things, and even, I mean, those skills are not useless.
No,
you
no.
can
You
still use them. It's kind of expensive having a very trained eye. You walk into places and you're like, oh, that cornice is bothering me. Just I see things all the time. But the biochemistry, as I said before, that was the most fascinating part of the degree, to be honest.
Yeah, wow.
And really understanding the body. Like the more you get into it, I just wish I was a doctor now.
Oh, really? Do you like it that much?
I thought about going and doing it, but I just thought I'd be so old.
Yeah.
Like,
But you'll have so much experience and you'll be able to.
I know, I'd be like 60 by the time I get out. I'm going to go and see the geriatric doctor. No, I was trying to focus on being a really good nutritionist. I think.
Okay.
Yeah. My daughter's going to do medicine.
Oh, is she? Okay, well, then you go. You've got one in the family. That's all
Exactly.
right. Designers are trained to see patterns. Do you think that skill has helped you identify those patterns in people's health?
You definitely see, I guess, patterns and things that are visual. I definitely do see that. And I can't help sometimes when I talk to different people. I'm assessing their levels of inflammation. And
Great, what have I got then?
maybe their eyes. I'm like...
How puffy are my cheeks? My eyes are crying at the moment. Don't know why.
Yeah, I'm a bit like that. No, I think sometimes you can look at someone's eyes and think, oh, I wonder if there's something going on with the thyroid, little things like that. But I think it's more patterns in maybe the type of people that I see.
Yeah,
like there's the people who really like proactively really want to understand their body. And I think at this age you have to, and I think I've heard you say it before, you've got to take ownership for
absolutely.
it. You can go and see your GP, they're going to answer some of your questions, they're going to help you, but they're not going to help you holistically put the whole picture together. Hence where clinical nutritionists, naturopaths, people like that, or some kind of functional doctor who's going to do, look at all the things and connect all the dots and look at your nervous system and your sleep and your stress and yes, your nutrition, but like there's so many pieces to it. But I know a lot of really smart people who they're just putting their head in the sand. Oh, I'm on some heart pill. Like they don't even know what they're on.
Yeah.
Like I just don't really want to know.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, okay, what about all the other things with that, and how are you addressing that through your diet or your lifestyle, or you're just taking your heart pill and hoping that that's fixing it up? Is it even a statin? Is it a PCKS9? Like they don't even know inhibitor. So I find that it kind of baffles me a little bit.
It's the same thing. Like I think health and finances are two things that people either take full ownership of or bury their head in the sand. And I think if people are scared about what they'll find is when they don't want to know. But yeah, it is really interesting because, I mean, for me, even for the kids, I'm like, their health profiles they've got everything in, like what results, their bloods, everything. Every year we get blood tests because I want to make sure that they've got good baselines and they know what's happening and where.
And even that you like what your genetic predispositions are, so you're looking for those in your children. So yeah, I'm looking at my daughter's, making sure her bone is good, and then I'm looking at their guts, I'm looking at her hormone panels, like just making sure that, because you try and give them the best start, in terms of their education and all the other things, but we also, and just educating them on how if they start now and they've got a baseline as well, like how they can, I don't know, manage it all the way through rather than getting to maybe 50 and going, oh, what's going on?
What did I do then? What did I have then? I know, it is interesting. And I think it is a change. You going, yep, I need to own my health rather than let the medical professionals own it, because, my grandparents, my nan is still alive, but she's very much, we'll trust the doctor. We'll trust the doctor, which is great, but the doctor also sees about another 200 people, and if you're not owning it, they're not going to own it. So, yes, it is interesting.
I do think young people are getting a lot more on it.
I agree.
I'm seeing 30-year-olds now.
Wow.
Yeah, who, were going through everything, and I'm like, so when was your last blood test? And I think, they are only 30. I'd probably never run bloods on myself. And then, I do find things in those bloods that they should be aware of.
It was interesting. On Tuesday, I took Leighton and Hallie to cognitive testing and brain mapping just to see what's going on with their learning, and just looking at how Leighton's brain is mapped and how it's like always on 200% has made me go, all right, that's come from somewhere and it's probably me. I need to be going and having a look at my brain, which I haven't done, only CT scans, just to see how it works and how it functions too. So yeah, that's my next health thing, is look at my brain and see.
I'm kind of looking at that as well at the moment. Because I'm seeing things in my son. I'm like, oh, that came from one of us, and it's certainly not my husband. It's me.
Oh, and brain health is just so important as well, because if that slows, then your later years are just going to be like the health or the joy that you have if your brain isn't working properly.
100%. I went to the Healthy Brain Symposium recently, and there was a really interesting, they had all kinds of people, the geriatrician in particular, and he was talking about the glymphatic system. So like the lymphatic, but it's the glymphatic is the brain system at night, and that's what happens when you're in that deep sleep. So if your glymphatic system is not working optimally, you're not getting enough deep sleep, you're not clearing out the amyloid plaques from your brain, which was really interesting. And he was talking about also in studies they've shown that taking melatonin 2 weeks before, if you're going to have a general anaesthetic, can help as well.
Really?
Apparently, you know how some people can wake up from a general anaesthetic when you're older and you can have some kind of cognitive decline?
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's
See,
what I learned.
lucky I had all my surgeries now.
Don't go in for any massive surgeries. That takes melatonin for 2 weeks before anyway.
Okay, great. What pushed you to retrain and create WellSet?
It was probably a bit selfish, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I just really wanted to understand my health, my body, all of that. And I think, I mean, I've always loved design and I always will, but I just got a bit over, well, once you kind of become, you know, the creative director, the head of design, you are literally, well, you start doing less of the fun things.
You do less of the stuff that you
They
were good
really
at. Yeah.
love. You're managing more the people. But even then, you are kind of doing the same thing over and over. It's a different client. It's a different problem. But you are coming up with the latest look, what's the latest typeface, doing mood, like, you know, feeding into fashion and design. I don't know. I want to do something where I help people and maybe something a bit more fulfilling. And then once I tapped into or started on this whole thing about the body, I realized how complicated, and I'm never going to master or, you know, ever learn as much as I still want to learn more. I think I'll be 99. I'll be like, I still want to understand methylation better. Like, you know, like there's always more, you know, there's always another conference. There's always someone with a bit more knowledge in that particular area. It's just so interesting.
What's the thing that is really sparking your interest now?
Genes.
Okay.
Yeah, really understanding them. But even then, it's just so complex.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like people coming in and seeing me and they're on methyl Bs because they heard they're under methylating, and like it's even more nuanced. It's more complex.
Yeah,
and
right.
So, yeah, I want to go much deeper down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, okay. Great.
That's a whole nother podcast.
Exactly. So you are the person who put me onto the DEXA scan. And for people who've never heard of it, what is a DEXA scan?
A DEXA scan. It is a dual energy X-ray.
Great. Thanks.
Well, that is kind of interesting because it can put an X-ray through your body and decide and will work out how much is bone, how much is fat, how much is muscle, because it's measuring through the tissues. But there are two types of DEXA. So there's the DEXA scan that's diagnostic for osteopenia, osteoporosis, and your fracture risk. And then there's the DEXA scan that's the full body composition, which only came out in the 1990s. But it is obviously an amazing tool to motivate you to maybe go and do something because it's going to rank you in percentiles as well and say you're in the lowest 10% or 10th percentile for muscle mass, which is concerning because we know that that's associated with longevity, and muscle has so many extra benefits besides strength. It's metabolically active, going to help with blood glucose regulation, insulin resistance, all those things. And so, yes, the body composition one can be very motivating for people to know where your body fat, but where is your actual fat? If you've got a lot of visceral fat, well, that is a concern as well. So you might want to, you know, adjust your diet and lifestyle. So that's a very good metric. So we usually do them in a clinic where I work at, where we do them 4 months before, and then we're going to go again in 4 months after.
And what is the optimal time to have like a in between a DEXA scan?
We operate on 4 months.
Yeah, right.
We feel like that's enough time to see
Make
some
a change.
shifts.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and then also with the bone part of that, so that DEXA scan does measure your bone, but it's not diagnostic. So it's going to put you in a reference, or it's going to say you're in the lowest 10th percentile or 20th, and we're going to say, okay, you're potentially high risk. So now we need you to go to, for example, the bone density clinic at St. Vincent's Hospital and have the bone density diagnostic one through your hips and lower spine, which will tell you, are you osteopenic? And if you are, which is something I found out but didn't take that seriously, but you can obviously stop it then from going into osteoporosis.
And what do you have to do differently now with your osteoporosis?
I actually don't do anything differently, really.
Right.
I mean, in terms of, like, I'm trained in Pilates. I've done 2 methods. The American first method I did, I mean, they're like, all the I never told, like, everyone who's got osteoporosis, you'd never do this. But, you know, they say no flexion, no loaded flexion, but as long as you've got high muscle mass protecting your bone, but I think it's much more important to load the bone.
Yeah.
So I'm still careful in terms of doing loaded flexion, like where I'm putting a lot of load into the bone, you know, under Pilates equipment and stuff like that. But yeah, I try and just make sure I've got high muscle mass and very active.
What do you think about bouncing? Like the craze?
Great.
Oh, really?
Well, lift.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So
It's probably something I haven't. Yeah, I mean, I skip and I do box jumps, but I don't.
See,
I'm
I've
getting
got
a little
I
trampoline.
bought a rebounder
Yeah, I think it looks
because
fun.
I love getting sold to on Instagram because I like just buy hope. I buy hope in bucket loads. And my friend and I joke about like what hope we're buying this week, but I did buy a rebounder. And it's sitting there, and I'll occasionally go and have a jump. And, you know, Chat and I have had a chat about what I need to be doing. And it says I need to be doing at least 10 minutes of jumping 3 times a week. And I'm like, okay, when I get back from holidays, I'm going to get onto this rebounder and start doing 10 minutes.
Okay. Is that for bone or
for bone?
Yeah, for bone.
Yeah,
Okay.
to try and just load the bone because I don't run anymore.
Okay.
It's like a...
Well, I skip and I do box jumps.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So
How
as long as you...
yeah, right.
Yeah. But yeah, maybe that's probably the only thing I'm not doing. Maybe I need to include that.
Maybe you need a rebounder, Karen.
I think I do, isn't it? I haven't. Who are those really cool? There's
These hilarious classes in the US where they've got like 50 rebounders and they literally are high impact rebounding, and it is just the best. Like I love it.
I've seen some super fit, gorgeous, glamorous. Yeah, is it Tracy Anderson who does
I don't
that
know.
or somebody like
But they're literally just pouring in sweat after being on this rebounder.
I'm gonna get one. All right, give me. Yeah, it'll pop up on my phone after this anyway, so don't worry. I'll be getting one for sure.
So it's interesting. I did my DEXA scan in January before my knee, shoulder, eye surgery. And I think I was doing it then because I was probably the fittest I've been in a very long time. I'm actually scared about doing my next one because I know that I haven't been doing as much as what I used to. Mm-hmm. But I think what I might do is I might set myself a goal of 1st of September is when the next one is, so that at least it's a proper, true representation of me being fit and strong.
Yeah, well, it's just for you, really, at the end of the day.
I know it is. And do you know what? It was great because it made me realise I was so worried about my bones, but my bones are actually healthy, which is great. Just need to... Yeah.
No, but I've kept mine stable. I didn't really say that. I found out when I was 38 and it did go osteoporotic, but then, it hasn't gotten any worse.
Right.
Yeah, so
and is that because of the lifting?
Yeah, I think all of the things.
The Pilates? Yeah, right.
I do. Yeah. And then also watching my diet, but then, K2, watching my vitamin D levels, the clinical collagen that I take they have shown in studies that it helps in postmenopausal women. And I also think hormones. So the MHT, HRT. So mine is very much, it depends what's driving it. I mean, I've got strong genetic component. Both my parents and both my brothers who are younger, they're osteopenic.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So they're both, I think that's a big thing. But mine's been caused by low estrogen. So I think it depends what it was caused by. So mine was under eating when I was younger, disordered eating, and then losing my cycle. So hypothalamic dysmenorrhea, and which is something I try and tell on my disordered eating clients. It's a big concern because your peak bone happens at 27. What have you got?
That's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah, young girls wouldn't know that.
Yeah, but I don't think many, I can't remember. I only found that out 6 months ago that at 27 is where that's it. Your bones.
Yeah. And
and you've got those for the next 70 years if you get to 97. But, but that's a big responsibility and no one knowing.
I know, and that's why, with our girls, right, we're trying to make sure that they at least hit as high as they can.
Yeah, so they've got a good baseline that they can come back from.
And even their hormones, like my daughter did have, she won't mind me saying this, but high prolactin there for a while. And when your prolactin goes really high, your estrogen goes low. And so I was really worried about that as well. So
with her bones,
anytime a girl's hormones are really unbalanced, it can be detrimental. So obviously the nutrients as well. Yeah. But they've shown everyone thinks calcium, but calcium is just such a small part. And that's the thing too. Most people who, maybe it's your next question, but if you can improve your bone density, it's usually stacking multiple interventions. So it's the dietary ones, but it's possibly bouncing.
Yeah,
but
bouncing.
The resistance training and high impact, but multiple things, and the hormones is huge.
Okay, good. So what is, I'm not going to ask that, but why is bone density such a big issue for women in their 40s and 50s?
I think because, well, really, the steepest bone loss isn't actually at menopause itself. It's actually a few years either side of it, which probably women don't realise. A lot of women are actually losing bone the fastest when they're actually in perimenopause.
How do you actually lose bone? Like, what does it do? Does
Well,
it just disintegrate? Like, or does it just
there's becoming more. Have you
brittle?
seen a bone that kind of is
Oh, yeah,
osteoporotic? It
yeah.
kind of looks like a crunchy that's got too many holes in it. Like
it's not dense.
It's not dense, yeah. So it's much more porous inside. So the osteoclasts are breaking it down faster than the osteoblasts are building it. And I think it's mainly because of the estrogen.
Yeah,
so and that was my case as well. So hence why that is a huge thing, and hence it's a important thing for women to consider around this age.
Yeah.
In terms of, am I going to go on, MHT, HRT for that reason? And I mean the cognitive benefits as well.
Yeah.
There's so much science on it now to say there's a lot of reason to do it.
Yeah. And can your bone density increase? Like when we get to this age, can you actually be actively doing things to increase it?
Yeah, well, I think it depends what maybe is causing it. If it's being caused by low estrogen, definitely that hormones are going to help.
What are the other causes of it then? Diet, nutrition?
Nutrition, yes, absolutely. Genetic, I think, is strong.
What about emotional factors like stress? Does stress play any impact, or does it have an impact on your body, on your bones?
Stress impacts every part of your body, I think, yeah. I mean, if it so impacts your gut. I think stress impacts people's gut more than anything. Yeah. And if you've got low-grade systemic inflammation or even high intestinal, or you've got intestinal permeability, you've got gut dysbiosis, you're not going to be absorbing your food and your nutrients as well. And also if you're a celiac, or even a lot of people aren't even diagnosed, if your gut wall is very inflamed, you're not going to be absorbing nutrients as well. It just depends, I think, what's caused it. But I mean, there are things like biphosphonates. Yeah. So I haven't been able to actually gain, but I've seen every endo in Sydney, I think, professor of endocrinology, all the bone specialists, and I have just gone on a biphosphonate. So 6 months ago, I'm just going to do it for 6 months and see if I can literally build. He doesn't know if I can either. He said, let's just do a bone density scan in a year's time and see, have you actually been able to increase. Yeah. So I've tried to do all the things.
Yes.
And now I'm going to chuck a pharmaceutical, a medication at it and see if I can,
if that will help.
Yeah. But my husband has, because he's got osteoporosis as well. And that's the other thing about, what tests should you do around 50? You should definitely do a DEXA. You should do a calcium score test. Go and do a VO2 max to give yourself a little kick up the butt that you need some cardio fitness. But he went for a DEXA just as a longevity thing, and he had osteoporosis.
Oh, wow.
We were like, what? But both his parents have got it. But his was from a different thing. So you can check your CTX marker in the bloods, which will show you how quickly you're excreting your calcium, and that was happening to him.
Wow.
So the biphosphonates now he's actually gained.
So that interesting for your kids then as well. Mm-hmm. If you're both, like bones are going to be really important.
Yeah.
And making sure that...
Yeah. My husband's like, my son, drink your milk every morning. He's like, oh.
Okay, let's talk about what actually happens in our bodies in our 40s and 50s. When does, I guess we've talked about this, bone density starts to decline, perimenopause and post, or I guess on the other side of going through menopause. Why do women lose muscle as we age?
It's those sneaky old hormones again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think also women typically, they do quite often move a little bit less than they used to.
Yeah.
But the real issue isn't actually that, like, it's the fact that their muscles just aren't responding to what, the same workout.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, the research shows muscle building responses to both resistance exercise and even protein can be blunted in older women. So the same training that you were doing, the same protein intake is in your 30s is simply going to get you less results. So hence we have to really work a little bit harder and be a bit more targeted, rather than just maybe working out for aesthetic purposes. We're actually trying to get stronger. We're trying to actually build muscle and, I guess really watch the nutrients.
It's interesting. I've managed to convince a lot of my friends who were doing, you know, just the walking and that type of thing to go and do strength training because I think it's so important that they're doing it just to get that muscle strength so that they can actually stand up when they're older. Or get up if they've had a fall.
Or even gel Ps. Like if people are going on them, like it's just a non-negotiable. Like you can't go on one of those without lifting weights.
Yeah,
because I guarantee, you know, you're metabolically going to be so much worse off when you come out the other side of that. And you know, if you are getting it through a reputable, like you're getting it properly through a doctor and you're being prescribed it. So I have some clients on a high dose of 15. They're now on a, you know, they've hit a certain weight and the doctor's like, right now you're coming down to a 10. We're taping you off this. But I had one client recently. He's basically just been having one steak. That's all he's been eating for about 8 months, and he has lost an enormous amount of weight. He's very young, and now he's just like, I know I need to get my nutrition in order. But you know, we haven't done.
And has he been doing strength training,
No.
or so literally was just using that as a weight loss and?
Yeah.
That's it.
So, I wouldn't, you know, it's just such a shame that people get given these medications and they're not given metabolic guidance in the first place. Like to go on that without at least getting your gut sorted out as well, because it's obviously going to slow down motility. Like if you've got an inflamed gut or you've got constipation, that is a big, big problem. But then, you've got to lift and you've got to get that protein in.
Or if you've got constipation and you go on that,
you'll end up with intestinal inflammation so bad, and it's going to sit in there and rot.
It'll be rock hard. Oh my God.
Yeah, terrible.
So, is muscle actually one of the biggest predictors of longevity?
It's actually not muscle mass that much. It's actually strength, which is 2 women can carry the same amount of muscle, but the one who's weaker for her size carries the higher mortality risk. So, which is why it's more important to actually train to be strong than just try and tone up. There were 3 meta-analyses that support the association between the weak grip strength, which I'm sure you would have heard about as well. So, and all-cause mortality. And then they found in 42 studies that people had a low grip strength had 62% higher risk of early death. So, I mean, you've got to be strong. You know, it's not just aesthetics anymore.
It's funny, even so Dr. Mary, who's she's a longevity doctor, but has been
I follow.
So
she's great.
She's great, but she challenged me to actually hang and just hang. And it was hard with my shoulder for a little while. But it's good. Like I'm actually, because I was so weak when I was hanging, like I could only last 45 seconds. And now I'm up at like 2.5 minutes.
Well, that's amazing.
Yeah, and it's great. But all I do is just hang and I get bored and then I have to do a little fidget or something. But it's amazing how you can actually
build it up too. You can start at 20, work to 30, go to 40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the grip strength. And I think there was another study that I saw where you have to carry or be able to carry for 5 minutes, like
there is
75% of your body. And that will be like help you understand how you are actually going to get to older in life and the strength that you will have.
Well, also I think being able to just get up off the floor, like all those kind of simple, basic functional movements, basically.
Yeah, the functional movements. Oh, my hips are not going to be anyway. Okay, so let's get practical. For someone listening who wants to age well, what numbers should they actually be paying attention to? Is it the daily protein, the muscle mass markers, bone density scores? Like what should they be looking at?
Probably all of them.
Yeah. Just everything.
Everything,
just
but without getting stressed about it. That's the thing too. People go,
and don't get overloaded. And don't put it all
I haven't
into
done
chat.
this. Like have I hit my target, my protein? What's my muscle mass? Like my bone density.
That's the thing.
There's so many things.
There's just so many. Like I got to the point where it was just overload because I'm like, what else can I actually be doing? I'm up at 5:15, going to the gym. I'm doing weights 3 times a week. I'm doing Pilates.
Drinking my water.
Well, water's questionable. It's one thing I need to get better at. But then you go, okay, you're supposed to be doing stretching in the morning. I'm supposed to roll your back out with your foam roller.
Go and flush your teeth.
Scrape your tongue. Use your face brush to get rid of your puffing. Like there's just so much. So much.
I know. I know, there is. I guess the main ones are the muscle mass is really important.
Yeah.
The protein is pretty important, but
Yeah,
without
okay.
overdoing it. Like I think a lot of people too, they're getting so obsessed with protein. You go through the
Yeah.
supermarket now, it's like, it's almost remind me of the low fat
It is
craze,
like,
you know?
it is like the low
Yeah,
fat
it's
craze.
like don't go overboard. I mean, the RDA sets it at 0.8 grams of protein per kilo of body weight, which I find is extremely low.
Yeah, that is low, isn't it?
Yeah, we certainly don't set it that low. I was taught in sports nutrition to set it at 2 grams per kilo of
Yeah,
your
that's what I
ideal
thought.
body weight.
Yeah,
When we do the DEXAs, we get the fat-free mass is what we
Yeah.
set it off. So
Right.
we set it at, depending on the training, but maybe 2.4 kilos, a gram of your fat-free mass, which usually comes in lower than that 2 kilos of your ideal body
Yeah,
weight
okay.
anyway, which is interesting. I guess the muscle mass marker is important on a DEXA
Yeah.
scan, knowing, you can flag sarcopenia, if
Yep.
you've got too lower skeletal mass. So I think below 5.5 a kilometre square in women is kind of,
Yeah.
that's a bit of an alarm bell.
Yeah.
And then there's things that come up on the DEXA which are called the ALMI, the ASMI. So they are things that are basically it's just giving you in your, like ranking you in your
age
like your
stage.
ages and
Yep.
stuff. They're important. I
Yep.
guess for the bone density, your T score is important.
Yep.
Looking at that, they'll give you your T and your Z score. So your T is against a healthy 30-year-old. But yeah, if you're below a certain number, 2.5 obviously,
Yeah.
minus 2.5, you've got osteoporosis. Visceral fat levels, that's
Yeah.
important. If you're
Yeah.
over 100, like that's, you got to work on that.
Yeah.
The fat around the organs. The waist to hip ratio, I mean,
Yeah.
that's pretty basic, but that's a metric that I do use a lot of clients.
Do you?
Well, yes, I do. Like, especially my corporate guys who come to me.
Okay, yeah,
And
right.
even just to get them to do their waist, because I had one recently, he's told his doctor was old, and he said, I'm seeing a nutritionist. He's like, you might as well just burn your money. But he's on statins and all this blood pressure medication. We've lost 6 centimetres of fat around his stomach with a tape measure. So that's been a good metric and motivator for him. So
I didn't even, it's funny because on my DEXA scan, I actually hold all my fat in my hips. Like I think most
women
do.
yeah.
But yeah, I hold a lot in my hips and then not much on my stomach,
good.
which is great. But it's interesting where, I know Juz like holds more on his stomach and nothing anywhere else.
Yeah, I do see that in the guys. Yeah.
And I mean, he tries so hard, but yeah, it's just interesting how everybody's different.
Yeah. But hopefully that is quite motivating for
Yeah.
him to.
Yeah,
it is. I see him working hard at spin.
Yeah, he does work very hard.
Yeah, but I guess you asked me which matters the most. I guess for the women, I'd say it's probably the muscle mass because it's a metabolic organ. So it's working at several different ways, not just strength, falling over, which is a big problem as well, right? A lot of people think cardiovascular disease is one of the things that's going to get you. It's probably physically falling over.
Yeah, well, and breaking a hip or that's
it's like the stats on that. If you break a hip, the mortality,
it's
and my own mum as well. She fell over and she hit her head, and she was never, that.
Yeah.
People die from really basic things like bowel obstructions and
right.
or even pneumonia. They go into hospital and they never. So it's kind of sometimes the things that just you might not expect.
There's so much confusion around diets, keto, fasting, detoxing. It's just overwhelming. What should people think about food instead? I do really like what you said first. Eat to live, not live to eat. Like I do think and food actually is medicine, and it can be medicine.
Absolutely. So
Sorry, I've just answered your question.
You have. No, but you're absolutely. Well, it is, and I that's the thing. People know, people know what a healthy diet is. People know they should be eating more vegetables. They should be watching their animal, fats and getting good omega-3. Like people know all these things, but it's just very hard to actually put it into practice.
Yeah, it is.
So getting those fundamentals, unfortunately, there are no quick fixes. You've got to get all those things right. You've got to get your stress under control. You've got to get your sleep right. So plant-based diet really is. I mean, the Mediterranean diet, yawn. But I mean, that is kind of where the science is at. Eat your fibre. Get your 30 grams a day. It's kind of boring, but that is 5 cups of veggies a day, 2 bits of fruit. I think going on any diet, even from personal experience, it's super restrictive. It's just... long term, I don't mind if people do keto, they've got to really drop some weight quickly, but that is a long term strategy. If I open a microbiome test of someone who doesn't eat fiber, their diversity scores, and also that creates an environment for pathogenic bacteria and you're not going to end up being, systemically well. It's going to be reflected in, your blood markers, your gut's going to be a mess. Unless there's something really clinically indicated where you should be avoiding a certain thing, I think diversity is important.
Okay, diversity, great.
There a long answer there.
What does a really healthy day of eating look like?
Probably what we talked about before.
I know.
Start your day with if you get some good protein in the beginning. I feel like most people's dinner is pretty good.
Yeah, I think that too. I think most people just need to get out the door, so they're being...
Yeah, and then also if they are craving sugar in the evening or in the mid-afternoon, it's usually because they haven't had enough protein in the morning. Okay. So and then they're becoming desperate and just grabbing for anything. The mums on the school runs, and even I have, quite a few corporate clients who might live in Palm Beach but work in the city. It's that drive on the way back where they're... Because I always try and find places with people like, where are you losing it? Is it in the afternoon? Are you a snacker after dinner? Like, is it sneaky in the kitchen? Yeah. But a lot of the time it's breakfast is not good for people. Yeah. Or, their lunch choices are not that great. So I guess it's just making sure, even the protein, if you just... Like, I just went to a conference recently and she was all about metabolic health and helping people lose weight, very successful. She's like, first treatment plan, I send people away. I'm just like, okay, you're just going to make sure you've got 20 to 30 grams of protein at each meal. Bang, off you go. Yeah, so it's just that, if you can just do that, you're going to keep your blood sugar a lot more, regulated. You're not going to be grabbing for stuff. Drink your water, boring. Get some healthy fats in. Yeah, it's pretty basic, really.
Okay. Are there 3 nutrition habits that make the biggest difference for longevity? I'm sure you're going to say drink water.
Eat your fibre. Eat your protein. Avoid processed foods because they really are rubbish.
I know. Why are we still allowed to buy them then? Like, why?
I don't know. Because someone's making a lot of money out of it. Yeah, I don't know. I know.
Like, it's just ridiculous.
Even the health rating stars and all that, such rubbish. Yeah.
If we know that they're so bad for us, why can we still get them?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I agree. Like, why? People just want convenience.
Yeah.
But even a protein bar, I don't want you eating them
anymore. Okay, all right. Lucky it was the last one in the cupboard.
But I think test and don't guess as well for people, for the longevity thing. Yeah. If you've got, if you're not right, and if you go to the doctor and you get your bloods, you would have heard people like me say it a million times, the doctor, you're in range. Yeah. No, you're actually just not in disease, You're definitely not optimal. I see people all the time, their D is 55. Oh, you're fine. We want to see you up around, over 100. Your vitamin B is way too low. Something's going on.
I think that's interesting. You're not optimal. That's great. You're in range, but you're not optimal.
But you might be in the lowest 2.5% of the population who maybe not even that healthy anyway.
Yeah. Okay. If a 45-year-old woman came to you and said, I've never lifted weights, I don't track protein, I've never checked my bone health, what would be the 3 things you told them to do?
First of all, I'm probably going to try not to scare her off because I feel like that is something that I'm trying to be better at as well, because I come in, I want to fix everything. I talk to my husband, he's like, you're just trying to do too many things with people. So I try and meet people where they're at first off. Yeah. Have empathy, and I sometimes tell people I've been in design, like that, I haven't always been in this profession. Nothing you tell me is kind of going to scare me or whatever. But I'd probably want to start with some bloods. Let's find out what's going on. Take a case history. Maybe I have to understand what her priorities are as well. Yeah. So if I say to her, well, I think you should be doing this, but she actually just wants to fit into some dress or whatever. So we've got to try and find that compromise, I guess. And I guess it wouldn't be the same for each 45-year-old woman either.
But that's a good thing. Like, everyone's different.
Everyone's different.
Well,
that's what keeps this as interesting as well. People are different and their personalities, but then, their metrics, their data, it's always a bit of a puzzle to be solved.
Yep. When you think about women you work with today, what do you hope their bodies feel like when they're 70?
Well, it's very interesting. Like most of the clients I'm meeting now, they're similar age to us a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I am getting the younger ones as well, but sometimes it's the postpartum women and their thyroids are going weird and they're like looking for answers. But a lot of the time people are at this age, they've accomplished a lot of things in their life. They've got financial freedom or they've accomplished things in their career that, they've ticked those boxes. And now it's just like, I really need to focus on my, not lifespan, but my health span.
Yeah.
What is that next 30 years going to look like? So I'm hoping at 70, they're still feeling like we are now.
Yeah.
They can go to Europe, pop their, thing in the overhead locker. They can cruise around Europe, without having a busted hip. And you're just not going to be unwell. I mean, Peter Attia, he's kind of, we don't love him quite as much as we used to, but he does come out with a lot of good stuff. He talks about the marginal decade. What does that last 10 years look like?
Yeah.
And I've just, looked after a parent with stage 5 Parkinson's for 9 years. Like,
Yeah.
I know what I've spent a lot of time in those old people's homes.
Yeah.
I know what it looks like to be, unwell and like just don't want to be there.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping my clients, as well, if they proactively take control of their data and kind of what's going on for them.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing to be. Okay, rapid fire round. Best underrated health habit?
Optimize your sleep. It's got to be, really, hasn't it?
Yeah. Okay, good. At least you didn't say drink water.
Yeah.
Most overrated diet trend?
Dieting.
Yeah, dieting. It's just crap. One food you eat almost every day?
Something green.
One supplement women should consider?
Toss up between, most women don't get enough D, but it's probably mag or a good fish oil, probably.
Yeah, okay. Your midlife mood in one word?
Purposeful.
Oh, I like it. What's one truth about health and aging that people really need to stop ignoring?
Stop spending as much time maybe organising your next overseas holiday that you could be spending like just organising your health data and looking at that. Maybe just shift your priorities. And it doesn't even take that much effort, really. Get a professional to help you.
Yeah. Yep, good idea.
If you're overwhelmed.
Okay, and then last question. If you could challenge me to one thing that I should do before I turn 50, what should it be?
If you haven't had your bloods done within the last 6 to 12, I'm sending you for that. But it's probably what we talked about before. VO2 max, calcium score test, do your DEXA.
I haven't done the VO2 max. I think I need to go and do that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I reckon you'll be pretty good. You spin.
Yeah. I spin.
Yeah. No, as long as I think a lot of people are so focused on the protein and the weights.
Yeah.
You still do need a bit of that cardio fitness.
Yeah, I do. It makes such a difference to me if I haven't done cardio. And I only need to do it, for my head.
Same.
I only need to do it twice a week, but I need to do it.
I need to do it.
Yeah,
I'm not a good person to be around.
I'm definitely not a good person. Yeah. Okay. All right. Karen, thank you.
Thank you, Dom.
Thank you so much for the conversation. And what I love about your work is that you take something that you can feel incredibly overwhelming, which there's just so much stuff out there, and you make it feel practical and empowering. So I think more people need to come and talk and take ownership of their health. And you remind us that aging well isn't about chasing perfection. It's about paying attention, understanding your body, building strength, and making small decisions like don't eat that protein bar now that your future self will thank you for. Because midlife isn't the beginning of decline. It's the moment we finally realise that health is something we can actively build through strength, through nutrition, through awareness. And sometimes all it takes is someone asking the right questions like, have you done a DEXA scan?
I
Karen, now I need to do another one. Oh. Karen, thank you for helping us and for so many people understand their bodies better. If you want to learn more about Karen, I will put everything in the show notes so that you can link to her, you can connect with her on Insta, you can just see how incredible she is. And if this episode made you think differently about your body, share it with a friend and someone who might need the same wake-up call. Because conversations like this are how we change what aging actually looks like. So thank you, Karen.
Thanks, Dom. That was fun.
Yeah, because fuck, I'm nearly 50 and isn't it amazing?